and welcome to University of Cincinnati Tutorial 2.0. What we're going to do here today is go through a half hour about the university, all the most important things that you all need to know when representing the University of Cincinnati. So we're going to start off with some general facts, much as we did before. UC now has over 41,000 students, so we're the second largest university in the state of Ohio. Something that I really like to focus on when talking about the university is our three main functions. First, being a public, large, urban university, one of our biggest benefits at UC. Second, being a research-intensive university, and the opportunities that can award students here at UC. And then third, the, of course, real-world experience, cooperative education, internship style of opportunities that we have. As you go through this presentation, I'll highlight each of those, but I think when you have a student walk up and say, hey, what is UC all about, those are the three things that you want to highlight off the bat. So, of those 41,000 students, about 19,600 are full-time undergraduates on main campus. With the Uptown campus included, with medical and main, you have about 32,000 students. So, if people ask very specific questions, that gives you an idea of kind of what the size is. Now, although we are very large, I think that an important part of this is focusing on the 16:1 student-to-teacher ratio. So, we're not going to be throwing you into 700-person lecture hall as your first day in class. There's going to be opportunity to speak with professors. You're going to have opportunities to work with TAs or GAs in study lounges and get to know your classmates. With that in mind, the University of Cincinnati usually says that throughout your first year on campus, about 50% of your classes will have less than 20 students in them. So you are going to have some large lecture halls. Only about 2% of the classes have over 100 students in them, and you're still going to get that smaller, more one-on-one attention, especially in your math and intro-level English courses. And then, of course, when you get in your third, fourth, or fifth year with co-op, your program-specific courses are going to be even smaller than that. I don't know if you want to use this, but I had a German course, minored in German, and I had 8 students in that course once. So you can have classes significantly smaller than that as well. There are over 2,000 international students here at UC, students from all 50 states, as well as over 100 different countries. And so, lack of diversity on campus as well, which I think a lot of students from out of state are looking for. What can the university provide me outside of a traditional in-state education? And last but not least, of course, the university was named as one of the world's most beautiful campuses last year by Forbes magazine. Only 14 universities across the entire country were on that list, and we're very proud to have a university that's listed on that. But as Dr. Greg Williams always says, UC is more than just a pretty face. We have some pretty awesome academic programs. You have 10 undergraduate colleges, 8 of which are on the Uptown campus, so on Main and Medical, which recruiting out-of-state students, I'd imagine a majority of them are going to be looking for those programs, not the associate degree programs on the branch campuses. So through those colleges, you have over 300 different programs of study and over 100 different bachelor degree options. With the exception of culinary arts and some agricultural programs, you really do have unlimited opportunities for students to explore here at UC. Of course, on the back of the view book, there's a list of all of those programs. You can look those up yourselves as well to become more informed about what programs we do have here at UC. A really cool program that we have as well is called the Center for Exploratory Studies. So if you have a student that walks up and says, hey, I heard about UC, I've seen them on TV in a football game, or I've been to campus for a camp or something, but I don't know what I want to study. What do you have to offer me? This is a great thing to talk about. So essentially throughout their first year on campus, this program is going to help them look for what they're interested in, take personality and career tests, and really try to find out what kind of program may be suitable for them on this campus. And so we have that kind of an option as well, so they don't have to decide that it's architecture or engineering from day one. We kind of help them pick that program. UC has hundreds of nationally recognized faculty, primarily because we are a top 20 public research university. So, as I alluded to earlier, this is one of the biggest things you want to talk about when referring to UC in a general sense, is the opportunity to do research outside of the classroom. So this could be work in labs, a very traditional sense, in the medical campus or on main campus, or this could be something like the Live Well Collaborative, where we're taking students that are interested in business and engineering and design, and mixing them all together in a studio and having them create products for the 50-plus demographic in the United States. And so really taking those things you've learned at the university and being able to apply that to real-world experiences. Over 250 programs, so only about 50 programs don't offer some sort of research built into the program. Of course, if your program does not have it, the university is there to help establish those as well. So students have the opportunity to create their own research as well. A lot of times that research is going to be one-on-one, so it's not something where there are 25 students that you're going to be working with. A lot of times it's you and the professor with a $300,000 grant to do research on molecular science. And so it's a really good opportunity for our students and something that we can really focus on when discussing opportunities here. Last but not least is our honors program. UC has a fantastic fantastic honors program. Each year they take roughly the top 5 to 8% of the incoming freshman class, usually about 300 students. What they'll do then is throughout that entire first year or their time on campus, they're going to have smaller classroom sizes. They're going to have honor-specific courses, which are more difficult, usually taught by a director or higher of a program, so you're going to get more one-on-one attention. In addition to that, they're going to get priority registration, so they get to register before anyone else on campus, which is a huge deal for parents and students. And last but not least, of course, is the opportunities they're going to get outside of the classroom through the pillars of honors, whether that be through arts and creativity, whether that's research that they'll do, study abroads, including co-ops and different kind of service learning opportunities. So really taking their experience at UC and taking it to the next level, making sure that they get a really good opportunity to not only kind of become involved on campus, but in the surrounding community. That's something that's very important to our students here at UC. One last thing about academics, I did kind of breeze over. If you have someone that walks up and says, I know nothing about UC, what are you guys known for? Of course, everyone knows DAP, everyone knows College Conservatory of Music, everyone knows College of Engineering and Applied Science. So I think it's always nice to kind of draw those out and say these are top-ranked programs, but then also don't forget, you have criminal justice that's third in the country. You have a business program that's a top 75, education the top 50 or so. And so I think familiarizing yourself with some of those rankings is a really good way when someone walks up and says, hey, how's your psychology program? To know, a ranking or something that's involved in the program. Integrated core learning is something you're probably never going to get a question about, so I won't spend a whole lot of time on this, but kind of looking at this and getting a good feel for what it is a good way to segue into programs. So when someone walks up, asks a quick question, you can bring integrated core learning into that because it focuses on real-world experiences like co-op, like study abroad experiences, global engagement, really making sure our students have a good time outside of the classroom as well. One important thing about this is the learning communities. A lot of students are going to participate in these, so 20 to 25 students throughout their entire first year on campus, you're going to have at least 2 core courses with that core group of students. So it's a great way to let students know that I'm not going to once again throw you into a lecture hall of 700 people. You're going to be in small classes with students who are taking the same classes and are in the same program as you. And so it really gives those students a good feel for campus. It helps with the transition from high school to college and makes their life a little bit easier that first year on campus. Also a great way to meet people because a lot of your students will be out of state and kind of help you meet people within the city as well to get them a better feel for what the university and the surrounding area can provide. And of course, the most important part about the University of Cincinnati, real-world education. As the inventor of the co-op model in 1906, the university has been doing this for a very long time. Now, throughout this opportunity on campus, students are going to be able to take up to 5 semesters when you switch to semesters, so all of your students will be on that calendar of cooperative education experience. It will take them 5 years to graduate with their bachelor's degree, but of course, they're still only paying 4 years of tuition. So a lot of students here will graduate with up to $30,000 to $50,000 in money that they have accumulated throughout their co-op time. Students will use that to offset tuition costs. They use that for living costs. They'll save that money. It's completely up to the student what they want to do with that money. The most important part of co-op, of course, to talk about is the experience, though. We want to make sure that our students are not only graduating with that bachelor's degree with the research experience, but they're going to have a full year of applicable experience in that field. It's going to set them aside from other students they're competing against from other universities. It also is a great way for the students to start developing relationships within that company and within that field. For instance, I have a student who works for Chiquita Banana. I worked for them for a year and a half during co-op. Upon graduation, decided he wanted to move to Dallas with his girlfriend. Called up Chiquita and said, do you have any positions in Dallas? They said, absolutely. Interviewed next weekend, had a job the following week. So it's a good way to really start developing those relationships and kind of get your foot in the door of that company. Now, of course, not every program on campus offers or requires co-op. Co-op is required in the College of Design, Architecture, Art, and Planning and all of our design and architecture programs. It is required in all of our engineering and applied science programs. So those 2 colleges require co-op. You have optional co-op in the College of Business as well as the College of Arts and Sciences and in the College of Nursing and College of Education, Criminal Justice, and Human Services with Information Technology offers co-op. So I know that's a lot of information that's all going to be in your binder as well as colleges move and programs move. They all kind of change pretty frequently. So roughly about half of programs here on campus are going to have some sort of required or optional co-op. If that is not an opportunity for students, of course, you're going to have clinicals built into nursing, internships with the criminal justice program, allied health sciences, and across a lot of programs in arts and sciences. Student teaching, of course, with education, research across, like I said, almost all programs, and then performance in the College Conservatory of Music. What's really interesting as well is the professional practice office where co-op is housed is actually created a couple new centers for academic internship programs to essentially help develop more paid and non-paid internships for students on campus in addition to co-op, as well as an innovation center for essentially them to go out and find more integrated programs for our students. And so co-op is going to be changing over the next couple of years. It's going to be very exciting, and so something really good you can talk about with prospective students. Now, as you can see, we have nearly 5,000 students in the program across 1,800 different companies in 16 different countries. So you don't have to stay in Cincinnati. You can go back to your hometown. The students can go across the entire globe. There are co-ops internationally, which is a really good opportunity. Another great thing about co-op is it's not just about work experience, it's not just about the money, it's about life experiences. To see how different countries do it, to see how small companies versus big companies, rural versus urban, really get a good feel for what you're looking for upon graduation. Last but not least, students earned collectively about $37 million through co-op last year. We still have the number 4 rated co-op in the country, as well as the oldest, of course, and then one of the top 10 largest public co-ops. And so some really good facts that you can drop in as you're talking about co-op and how we've been doing this for a very long time. We have lots of companies interested in working with us. And then, of course, student support, something that, once again, you may get questions about this. I don't think it's going to be as frequent as more academic specific questions, but throughout the first year, you're going to have the first year experience highlighted by those learning communities that we talked about a little bit earlier. You're going to have Welcome Week on campus. You're going to have different opportunities for students to work with their advisors. You're going to have academic advising. You're going to have writing, English, language lab, math labs on campus for students to take advantage of. And so the first year is a really big stepping stone for us in making sure that we retain a lot of those students. UC's first year retention rates have gone up significantly in the last 20 years or so, and we can see that. Looking forward to seeing that rise some more. As part of 2019, the strategic plan, that's hopefully going to be about 90% by 2019. So something that we're really pushing towards. Once again, something that's great to talk about with families that are concerned, is my student going to be able to stay on campus all 4 years? And what support structures do you have? You have the Gen 1 Theme House, which is an opportunity for first-generation college students to live in an integrated community within campus. Usually there are about 35 of them that live in the house, and that really help with that transition from high school to college, especially once again, if you're first generation. They also have other support systems associated with that. You don't have to live in that house to take advantage of those as well. And so that's a big concern for a lot of parents sending their students away for the first time. As I mentioned before, you have academic advising and career development services. When you're getting ready to graduate, we can help you with mock interviews, with doing resume building workshops. Of course, you can meet with your academic advisor. You're required to meet with them at least one time per quarter. So make sure you emphasize that to students and parents. They'll help you plan courses, find groups on campus. We have free tutoring for all of our students that can be available once a day, once a week, once a month, once a quarter. It's up to the student to set that up. And so it's really up to them how often they want to meet and how much they are struggling with those programs. Something I always focus on with tutoring as well is that it's not for students with a D that want to turn it into a B. If you have a B and you want to turn it into an A, take advantage of tutoring. That's why it's there. It's something I think a lot of students kind of breeze over. You have the Disability Services Office that you can take advantage of as well, and the One Stop Student Service Center. One Stop is very unique, opened in 2003, one of only 3 universities in the country to have a one-stop system like this when we first started. So it's essentially combined 7 or 8 administrative offices into one centralized location. So that's paying your bill, adding and dropping classes, getting your financial aid taken care of. Any administrative problem you have with us, they can take care of right here at One Stop in the middle of campus. So something that we're excited that we can let our students know, you don't have to go to 6 buildings to drop a class. So a lot of other universities are following this model. Probably not something as interesting for them as athletics, but something that I think if you get that question, it's good to have a good feel for what kind of support structures are out there.